Hello everyone! You probably know by now that Dreams is a new game developed by Media Molecule. After they revealed the game at E3 this year, there was lots of confused impressions posted on the internet about it. But later on they gave a couple of interviews and several articles were written about the game, further revealing some new details. And now it's just a matter of days before Paris Games Week and full-on reveal. But till October 28, couple of interviews and a teaser is all we have. So my idea here is to record a couple of videos in which I will try to summarize all the info we know about Dreams. And I will also analyze the released trailers, speculating on the creation tools which will be available to creators around the world. And after Paris Games Week is all wrapped up, I will also try to follow up with another summary and analysis. Okay, to begin, let me just cover the basics of what Dreams really is. Probably the easiest way to describe Dreams would be to label it as an evolution of Little Big Planet's play, create and share concept. And in case there is still any doubt, let me just state it up front. The game will, in addition to being an awesome tool for creation, also have a strong play aspect to it. It will be a game, not just a movie creator as some have concluded, and this was confirmed during interviews on Twitter and can be even found as a description on the Dreams official webpage. Basically, in Dreams we are going to be creating games, interactive experiences, movies, paintings, musical arrangements, animations or any possible combination of those type of creative endeavors. And you can probably imagine, but when all that in collaboration comes together, it will be something truly mind-blowing. However, there is still this feeling of uncertainty regarding creation tools and what exactly can be accomplished with them. I mean, LBP from the start was a 2D or 2.5D platformer, and the creation tools were best suited for creating platforming levels. Of course, there were some deviations, such as developing different types of gameplay styles or artistic experiences, but in the end, we all know how clunky those FPS or driving levels or 3D platforming levels felt in LBP. Or even expressing emotions in cinematics was always a bit unnatural. But now, the approach with Dreams is obviously different. And that is probably the reason why it's so hard to easily explain what the game is about. But just think about it. If there is no defined framework anymore, how exactly do you present this? You can't label it as a 3D platforming game, since it can be that, but it can be so much more. And that is the main reason I believe why Media Molecule isn't so eager to define Dreams as having any specific type of gameplay, or even to outline exactly what users will be creating in the game.
I think Dreams is going to be defined by its community. At Media Molecule we've always tried to put the community first, and Dreams is the ultimate expression of that. I hope that we show our first Dreams and you see what we can do with it and then go crazy, go way beyond, put us to shame. And in that sense the community will be what drives Dreams forward and keeps it evergreen, keeps me coming back to play because I don't know what you guys are going to create.
Okay, so there's one more part to highlight from this interview. They also mentioned their own dreams, and this pretty much brings us to another question. What type of game will Media Molecule actually ship alongside the creation tools? Maybe this is all a bit of a mystery at the moment, but one thing is certain. A playable game will be included in the final package. Although who knows what that game will be, we could make plenty of assumptions based on the bubbles at the end of the teaser. But for now, the most probable assumption is that they will create some kind of overarching dream narrative with a multitude of different gameplay styles. Media Molecule is clearly building an engine capable of supporting many types of gameplay styles, and the flow of the main game will probably reflect that. So it's pretty clear now that in this game everything is built around the idea of dreams. The name of the IP was not just made up as an afterthought. The idea of Dreams was their guiding light. I mean, if you look back, we already knew about the name of the game for quite some time. Just listen how many times word Dreams is said during the Media Molecule's tech demo reveal 2 years ago.
Dreams, 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 dream.
Television TV.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I know, things have changed from then, but it was hard to resist. Okay, but more seriously now, what is cool to note here is that they had this grand vision about the game from the start, and this clearly inspired their creation process on every level of development. Probably even before naming the game, Media Molecule initially created this amazing sculpting tool. I mean, when you see all these sculpts on the screen, the first thing you notice is their cloud-like nature. But let's take it to another level. what is as fleeting as clouds, but even more mysterious and wonderful? Of course, it's dreams. One influences the other, it's all connected and interwoven. And I understand this may not be how it all unfolded, but on a general level it is probably close to how Media Molecule actually creates. In one interview they stated that the mechanics and the idea of the game were all influenced by the engine itself. And this just shows how organic their creation process is. They just keep on building layer upon layer of creative awesomeness. So, how far does the idea of dreams extend in this game? Well, for start, you remember the visual style at the beginning of this demo. Just look, everything is fuzzy here. There are no exact lines, shapes change form constantly, and everything looks like an expressionistic painting. Just like you would expect from being in a dream. Okay, so this scene is really dreamlike, but what does that mean? We could wonder whether the whole game will have this dreamlike aesthetic, and this will probably be a both yes and no answer. This scene is clearly an extreme depiction just to nail the idea of dreams on the visual level, but judging from the later scenes and from the bubbles at the end, it is obvious that the game will support different visual styles and give opportunities to draw more precise lines. Basically, this all comes down to how they render the game. Alex Evans gave a pretty techy talk about the hard journey of finding the appropriate renderer for dreams. And this journey, which lasted for more than 3 years, was filled with constant iterations and some dead ends. For example, the tech demo which they first showed at PS4 reveal was using a renderer which was later on completely ditched for a new one. The art director wanted the visuals to resemble a painting, and that was not easily achieved with their old renderer, which was mostly producing clean poly-like looking art. So finally they decided to go with the renderer based on splats. Now what that means is that everything you see in dreams is based on points formed in clouds. And I really wouldn't be talking about all of this if it didn't have a direct impact on the possibilities of the visual style of the game. For example, one scene can be represented with highly dense points, which gives it a more clean and sharp look, but on the other hand, for that exactly same scene, the density of points can be turned down, which would result in something like this. Or you can go with the middle of the road approach. Users will obviously have full control of this effect, which can be modified and adjusted for each sculpture. And we have already seen in the trailer the use of different splat densities on the same object. For example, this sculpture is visualized with a rough sculptured look. But then, in the opening of Dreams teaser, that same sculpture has a cloud-like effect. Now, these are obviously extreme possibilities, but we're probably going to have a slider with which we will define exact magnitude of density of splats. So as a result, if you wish so, you could have a scene exclusively created with a cloud-like aesthetic, or with a clean solid-like look. But on the other hand, you could have a mixture of those styles, like we saw in this bike chase scene here. Look at the difference between the bridge and the building in the back. The bridge has this clean solid-like look, and the building is all cloud-like. Also, what is cool to note here is that the effect can probably be partially applied to an object. I mean, just compare the lower and upper part of this tower. You can see a clear distinction between the clean look and the cloud-like look. And, as mentioned before, you can mix this any way you want, and it blends perfectly. Compare the solid-like look of this bike and the cloud-like effect of the buildings in the background. It's like they will explode any minute now. We are seeing totally different styles used in the same scene. And yet, they complement each other without any of them looking out of place. Now, with all of this said, and even if you decide to go with a pure chiseled-like look, on a general level it still seems like the whole game will generally lean towards this water painting look. And the reason for this is the painting tool, on which I will later on speculate, and which has a definite mark on what are the possibilities and limitations of the visual representation of dreams in this game. But still, the idea of dreams doesn't just stop here, it influences much more, not just how the game looks.
So we're building a place where you go to play and explore the dreams of others, and then you can create and share your own. Every individual dream is seamlessly linked to the others. It's sort of woven into an open dreamiverse.
So, players will create, share and discover this gigantic universe of interconnected dreams, or as Alex Evans puts it, the Dreamiverse. Just imagine each aspect of play, create and share and try to put it in a landscape of dreams. These concepts of play, create and share will change and evolve from what they meant in LBP. For example, when they gave an interview about progressing through the game, they said that players can go from experience to experience in a very dreamlike way. Now, what exactly that means is a bit of a mystery, but it's clearly not just empty words, since Alex Evans further emphasizes this point by giving an example. Okay, so you're in this first-person shooter and you do first-person shooter stuff, jump around, kill people and follow map points. And then you open the door and suddenly you find yourself in a journey-like desert. And you keep on going, and then out of nowhere you see a spaceship. And then you climb this spaceship and probably go to intergalactic travels, save humankind from alien invasion or some other crazy stuff like that. Okay, to be honest, I can't fully grasp what they meant with all of this. It's a nice picture, but it's a bit hard to understand. I mean, does this clarify more how the story of their game will flow, or does it refer to the way how we'll play community projects? Or just how they expect users to create these dreamlike experiences within their own levels? There was one later interview which further elaborated on this topic. The traversal between creations and dreams was described as an explorative MMO-like adventure. And it was also stated that there will be no home hub screen, like for example LBP had a pod. In that game, players were going from a hub to a level, and then back to a hub and off to another level. Hub was just a middleman between different states of play, create and share. On the other hand, in addition to being like an MMO adventure, Alex Evans, in the attempt to more precisely explain this new system, compared exploration in dreams to searching for stuff on Wikipedia. You know the experience of clicking through all those links of infinite possibilities while searching for one thing, and then after a couple of clicks ending up on a completely unrelated topic, which again takes you somewhere else far away from your initial search. And now that we have a bit more info about all of this, let's go back to the beginning of their E3 talk, which to be honest I initially regarded as a general intro to the game. But in this new light it appears to be a statement of some of their key design decisions.
So we're building a place where you go to play and explore the dreams of others, and then you can create and share your own. Every individual dream is seamlessly linked to the others. It's sort of woven into an open dreamiverse. You can get lost for hours exploring, journeying through the imaginations of thousands of PS4 gamers. And the thing that unites them all is that feeling of being in a dream.
Okay, so the key goal here is to be lost for hours, journeying through fleeting dreamlike moments. The exploration and MMO-like description easily fits into this goal. MMO worlds are usually characterized by this vastness, openness and by having huge environments. So the question is, how can we translate this within the context of dreams? It can be understood as an exact reference to MMO exploration, where players would have this huge world to explore, and which would be filled with links or portals to all other dreams users have created. But this is highly unlikely, since it was already stated that Dreams has a hubless world, which means that having a main world to be traveled in order to reach other dreams would again act as some sort of a hub, and that is exactly what I want to avoid. So another option is that MMO reference was meant as a metaphor. In this scenario, we could have all these dreams as separate entities, just like we had separate levels in LBP. But if the whole system from the ground up is developed to foster and preserve ever-growing relations between those particular dreams, maybe then they can be viewed and experienced not just as separate dreams, but also as integral parts of a never-ending landscape of dreams. The fashion in which players will discover and explore this landscape of dreams is what I believe will create this MMO-like feeling of exploration. The FPS desert spaceship example given previously is exactly in line with this description. Each segment is a separate dream. Although as interconnected segments, they create a larger adventure with never-ending extensions. And as stated in the E3 talk, individual dreams will be seamlessly linked among themselves, like in the example where you open the door and you find yourself in a desert. However, with stressing the importance of flow between separated segments, there is one slight concern which I wonder how they will address. It appears that dreams, as a tool for expressing yourself, are more open to the possibility of creating artistic statements than LBP was, for example. But the question is, what effect can a cacophony of dreams, which just relentlessly stream one to another, have on a strong artistic statement that an artist is trying to make? Sometimes, for a message to be understood, silence and empty space are crucial. Imagine watching a movie with a sad and thoughtful ending, and then just seconds after it finishes, you're violently ported to another location in time and space.
Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on. No. 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 Please.
Okay, that was silly. I know this example is overblown, but I just want to stress that it all depends on how the transitions between dreams will be handled. They are the key. From the narrative standpoint, they don't really need to make any sense, since you're in a dream and moving from experience to experience in a dreamlike way. 1 second you can be in a desert and the other traveling through space. Just as piano in the forest gave way to sliding bears, dreams can easily lead one to another. And from the technical standpoint, to achieve this feeling of lucid dreaming, the imperative is that the loading times are minimally present, or even non-existent. Transitions should just happen. Otherwise, the whole effect of opening the door and finding yourself in a desert would be seriously ruined if it was interrupted with a 30-second loading screen. The more players stumble upon loading screens, the less they are exploring the universe in a dreamlike way. So now, we come to the question of when do the transitions occur? To answer that, I think the Wikipedia comparison is our best clue. Players will be going through links and portals and ending up in new territories. And just like with Wikipedia, in dreams we will also probably have many different ways of reaching the same destination. Now let's see, any good Wikipedia search always starts with an initial inquiry, and most likely the same freedom to search for a preferred or a specific dream will also be available at the beginning of a journey in this game. From this point, players will be going through many links and portals in order to find new experiences which wait just around the corner of that next dream. So what could those portals be? Most obvious option is that there are links placed at the end of a dream. The trailer itself gave some hints about how dreams transition from one to another. There is a piano in the forest serving as a portal to the polar bear scene. And then the gaping mouth of one polar bear links to the crazy sci-fi bike chase, at the end of which is a portal in the road that transforms Biker's hand to a zombie's hand, who will soon be clobbered by this zombie slayer teddy bear with a red skirt. It all flows naturally, just like the FPS desert spaceship example is supposed to flow. But still, how will these portals at the end of a dream function exactly? There are many possibilities how Media Molecule can approach this. They could just make it so that it's a random link to another dream. Although by having random links there is always danger of drowning users in a sea of dreams of poor quality. Because honestly, majority of user created content is usually not worth playing. You usually have to search for good stuff. Another option is an algorithm, which would calculate paths where these links could take you. But if they go with this approach, we can only hope that the algorithm is better than the one behind cool levels in LBP. Maybe creators will decide what dreams will be linked to their creations. And this could make sense, as they would be ensuring that the flow is retained. But on the other hand, it could limit the variety or could be abused for promotional purposes. And is even contradictory to the whole lucid dreaming idea of moving through impossible time and space. The decisions by the creators would be mostly too mindful and guided by order and coherence. And dreams as a subconscious phenomenon just don't work like that. But on the other hand, we don't want that rave collapse scenario. So there are lots of options how these portals could function, and who knows if any of those will even be used. But there is still something missing. The Wikipedia comparison just doesn't feel right with what we have covered so far. This scheme is missing the chaos and permutations of what would a usual Wikipedia search encompass. Searching the web is unpredictable and can take you to places. But in order to achieve this Wikipedia-like system, something else is needed. And this part of the interview could be a hint about that. So they say if something sticks out, you grab onto it and see where it takes you. Okay, but the player grabs for what exactly? Most obvious answer would be for other dreams. Here is one possibility. One dream will contain within itself links to many other dreams. and these links or portals would be placed manually by the creator or automatically by the system. The point is that players can then choose the direction of a journey at any time, even if not knowing where the journey will take them. Manually placed links by creators are nothing new, but this possibility of having automatically generated portals is what I'm more interested about. The idea is that dreams will usually be created in a collaboration or by remixing and taking stuff from other people's dreams, be it music, art, sculptures, voiceovers or anything else. Now we have a dream which consists of this huge amalgamation of other people's creations, be it from different dreams or from their own direct contributions. Now what if at any time by being in someone's dream, a fragment of a dream sparks your interest and you want to know more about it and the context from which it was taken or remixed? Wouldn't it be cool to be able to automatically transport to the origin which piqued your interest? Of course, this is pure speculation, but this scenario is certainly one way how they could easily create this vast network of interconnected dreams, which would constantly be expanding by automating links to the associated creators and their dreams. And lastly, to this whole picture, the creation aspect also has to be added. From the initial showing of LBP, we already witnessed how much Media Molecule likes to infuse aspects of Create into the play mode itself. And this indication was further continued with Tearaway. We can expect that Dreams will take this approach to a whole new level. It is clear that flow is important to them, so we can safely assume that the creation aspect will be integrated as much as possible into the play mode itself. While players will be seamlessly journeying from one dream to another, the same feeling of journeying will also most likely be retained when flowing from play mode to the creation mode and then back to the play mode, while always having the opportunity to remix and recreate whatever players stumble upon. And these were just some of the examples of how the idea of dreams has an influence on the game, and we'll cover more of them later on. But who knows how deep it all goes? Just think how everything in Tearaway was influenced by paper. I mean, they built a whole engine for that game which respected the physicality of what's possible when creating with paper. On their official Tearaway webpage, we can see how paper is spread all around the page as a tribute to the material from which the game was built. And now the official Dreams webpage has a really similar structure. But here, instead of paper, we have bubbles. And I think it's clear why they went with bubbles. Just think about it. You can't represent dreams by something as physical as paper, so they had to help themselves with a little bit of symbolism. You know how in all those cartoons or comics, when they want to express that someone is dreaming, they usually do it with bubbles. Bubbles representing a direct view to people's dreams. And just like the building material for the world of Tearaway was paper, we really have to wonder where this journey can take us when people start creating all these different worlds by using dreams as their building material.